everyone, welcome back to RTS and welcome to a fun video today where we are going to play, and we are going to play with some more base pages, but this time we're going to have a little bit of a more of a fall feel to them if you wish to join in and have some fun. So I have a couple little tips and tricks we're going to talk about, and then also too, how do I start something like this when I just sit down to play with some base pages. And I've talked about this in other videos. This is something that if you want to scrapbook, you want to play with paper, but yet you don't want to deal with photos and embellishments and your brain is not there to work on any journaling, base pages is something fun. And then when you go to use them, you can definitely see the benefit of having these base pages done. Layouts come together very quickly. And I have a whole album that I keep, and I just flip through and I grab some base pages when I want some quick pages. And then also to listed below, just hit the show more button. There will be a group called Deborah's Facebook group that is started by the lovely Deborah Coe. And she has a Facebook group called Love RTS, and they do base pages on that group and they show the finished result using those base pages. So head over there, and if you want to see some photographs of my base pages, the lovely Karen has those listed in the file section. So definitely hop over, the link will be below. So when I started to play with some base pages this round, of course, it's all fall themed. I don't always have to use them for fall layouts, and in our Kit Crunch I showed that the other week. Excuse me, I got something in my eye already. I'm telling you. And I think I'm on the verge of a sinus headache. Oh, aren't those lovely? Allergies, I'm telling you. Fall allergies are here. Is that you can use fall papers and you can get that warm and cozy feeling, but it doesn't have to be for fall photos. So definitely check out Kit Crunch. That will be listed below. So when I start something like this, I tell myself, what do I want to play with? Do I want to play with paper pads, 6x6, 12x12? Do I want to play with a collection? Do I want to play with scraps? And then what kind of tool or technique do I want to do? And so whenever I'm doing these base pages, I don't do 10 different techniques. Wow. What I do is I pick one thing and I play with it. So this time I'm going to play with border stickers, and then also I'm playing with some edge punches. And so that's what I'm going to play with this time. And I do have a few paper pads I'll show. I have a couple 6x6 paper pads, and then I have a collection by Simple Stories. It's an older one, and I'll show that as well. So let's just get playing. I think we have about 8 or so layouts that I'm going to show. And if you want to do this, the measurements will be listed below, and the photos will be listed on Deborah's Facebook group. So head over for that. So what I decided, I was just in the mood to play with some older Fiskars edge punches, and so that's what I did. I pulled 4. So one is like a little mini scallop. One is the first edge punch. This was like when it was first came out, and this was found at Target, and people went crazy. And so it's called Apron Lace. It's just wonderful. And so then this really increased popularity, and I don't even know if Fiskars make edge punches anymore. Does anybody know that? These are really good quality. Of course, lifetime guarantee with Fiskars. And then I have a bracket, and then I have what I call like a little flower sunburst. So those are the 4 I'm playing with. And so when I'm building base pages, I'll just grab something, and then I just use it throughout my base page session. How's that? And so of course with the border stickers, I just grabbed brown, and I think I have a gold somewhere popping in. Now if you're not someone that doesn't have a lot of border stickers, don't forget that you can make your own border stickers using washi, whatever color, whatever size, whatever style, and then just put it on some white cardstock and trim it down to that washi width. And so there's some cameras. I just wanted to show that. So I pulled out some border stickers, and that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to tell you what my measurements are, but the one thing I want to say, that if you want to build base pages, and some of the things I show, maybe that's not your style of doing a base page, I will tell you, just do a couple of them. Do like 3 or 4 of them, and then don't put them away. Use them right away if you've never done base pages before, and you will see the addiction of base pages, because it makes layouts go together so quick, especially if you're going to a crop. Grab that album of base pages and grab a stack of photos and some embellishments, and that's all you need, really, honestly. So I play with paper all the time, so coming up with measurements and playing with different sizes and shapes, that's kind of like second nature to me. But if this is something that you want to do, and you want to do it on your own, what you can do is just grab a stack of sketches, and I will have 3 places listed below that I go to mainly for sketches. That is the free Laura Whitaker sketchbook. That will be listed below. It's free. Grab it. Thank you, Laura, for that wonderful resource. Page Maps is another wonderful resource, free. And Scrapbook Generations is free. Now, for Page Maps and Laura Whitaker's, they're just for design. There's no measurement. So if you want that step-by-step measurement and just do base pages using sketches, because if you look at a sketch, take away the photos and the embellishments, that is the base of your layout. So just don't look at the photo size. Don't look where the embellishments are. Just look at where the papers, the very bare bones of that layout, and then build base pages. So you can get different ideas just looking at sketches. So I want to show that. But if you want exact measurements, if you're someone who likes to follow things to a T, definitely look at Scrapbook Generation sketches. They're free. I'll have that listed below again. And you can use those sketch measurements and build base pages. Just forget the photos, forget the embellishments, and then you can build up an arsenal of base pages. I have a whole album, and I'll have some more videos listed below. And to see that below, you have to hit that show more option. Okay, so let's get playing here. I have this washi that my lovely friend Kim sent me. I want to talk about that. So for the first one, my stomach is growling already. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Oh, isn't that fun? So what I'm going to do is I have this Bazzill background. It has a little bit of a texture. And I got this at a specialty shop. So it's fun to see Bazzill cardstock. You know, that's something we started with a long time ago. So it's still nice to see it every once in a while. It was in a stationery store. So this is like a butter yellow. And so this is 12 by 12. And so then what I'm going to be playing with is this Die Cuts with a View Pumpkin Spice. That's what I'm playing with. Very, very fall-like. But you will see with some of these layouts, I won't have to do fall photos. No, I will not. So then I brought out the Birdie paper, and I cut that 11.5 by 11.5. And this is what I'm going to call layout number 1. Again, the measurements will be listed below. And so I did cut and gut that because I'm going to put another block on top of this, so I could use this for another layout. So I wanted to show that. So 11.5 by 11.5, and I will adhere these down once I'm done filming. And then this maroon block is a 9 by 9. And so I'm going to position it in such a way that I do not cover up the birdies here at the bottom. So when I'm playing with a background that does have a design, I do play around with my measurements because I do want to see these birdies. So I made sure I have some at the top, I have some down at the bottom, and one floating there to the left. Just cute little birdies playing with that maroon paper. It's so pretty. That's what the B side is. It's a lovely text wood grain. Yes, very pretty. And so then when you are building base pages, that brings up another good point, is that don't go with all busy patterns. You want a little bit of neutrals in there. You want some solids because you don't know what your photos are going to be. Your photos may have some high energy. So that's something to consider. But the more you do this, the more comfortable you get with this. And then I have a yellow plaid stripe. This is simply a 2 by 12. This is going to land down here at the bottom. And I'm going to put it right above this birdie. I'm keeping this little birdie here as like a little bit of an embellishment already pre-made into my design. And then I did break out the border stickers right off the bat. And then I broke out, this one is the brackets. Oh, I love this one. This is an older, so just break out some edge punches. It don't matter what you have, but make sure that they're generic enough to go with several layouts. And so I guess I should say that too. I get this question a lot when it comes to base pages. And the number one question I get, sorry, four-wheel vehicle, is how do you know how to build a base page because you don't know what you're going to scrap. That's the beauty. You don't know what you're going to scrap. So my key word is variety. Do a variety of colors, do a variety of styles, and then that will fit into your variety of photos that you scrap in the future. So with your edge punches, make sure they're generic enough to basically a bracket you can use on any layout. And so you can see this is clearly a Fancy Pants border sticker, and I ran that border sticker with the transfer paper on through my Fiskars edge punch, and I gave it a bracket, and it's going to land right underneath that plaid right there. That is where that's going to go. Now when you're using edge punches, sometimes you get a little bit of a leftover strip, and so here's this little skinny, it's less than a fourth. You could definitely play with that as well. And so when I have extras like that, if I'm not sure, what I'll do is I just go ahead and include it with my base page. and I just slip it in the page protector because you can always use this. I could use it up there, I could use it here, I could bring it down here. So why not? It's still a sticker. It's just a skinny sticker, so you could use that. And then also with this piece that I did gut in the middle, I could definitely use the B side on this on the layout if I wanted. So I will leave that in with the leftovers as well. I don't plan on using it, but I could use it in the future. And then also too, you see I have this pressed flower petal here. This is petal washi that my lovely friend Kim Ferguson sent from Close to My Heart, and she will be listed below. And so I put this here as a representation. And I'm going to put it on the back so that I know, well, I'm going to put it here so I'll see it better. And then you can also make a note of it and include it on a piece of paper. I've done both. So I will include this extra, and this little representation of this washi petal if I want to play with that when I build this base page, or do, you know, when I do the layout. I will have those options. So not that I will build them and include them when I do the base page, but the representation is there. Yes. And so because I don't want to put that in with my base pages, because my base pages don't really have anything, just a few leftovers, if that makes sense. Sorry, I think that sinus headache is coming. So this is how this is going to land. Very pretty. And that's how I will build this page. Just like that. And I will put these in the page protector for extra choices later on. Now, I think what I'm going to do, since these are fall base pages, I'm not going to put these away. I'm simply going to keep them near my desk and play with them for some fast pages coming up, or may take them on a trip coming up. Either one. Okay, so that was number 1. So now let's go to number 2, and I have a little bit of an embellishment I want to show for number 2. Now, for number 2, what I did was I played with this Pebbles Woodland Forest, and I think I'm going to have to get a drink. So excuse me for that. Some people do not like when people do that, but my lovely friend Joan, who has been with me since day 1, she has said you get a drink whenever you want to get a drink. So thank you, Joan. I'm going to get a drink. You know, when you talk and talk, your throat does get dry. Okay, so Woodland Forest, that's what we're going to play with the Pebbles, and this is a very easy base page to do. And then also with that, you're playing with 6x6 papers. How awesome is that? Absolutely. So we recently did an 6x6 series. That playlist will be linked below. What fun. I'm telling you, when you do something like that 6x6 series, you will not look at this. You'll look at it in a whole different way. Absolutely. So my base page here for my background is a Bo Bunny journal paper, and it's a journal and a ledger. And originally I thought I was going to use this side, but when I flipped it over and I saw this, I'm like, well, now that I like even better. So sometimes on distressed papers, you'll see that one edge will be distressed a little bit more than the other. So what I do is I always put the heavy distressed. This has more inking down at the bottom, and I will put it down at the bottom. It just makes it feel a little better balanced down at the bottom rather than the top. But you know, you could do whatever you want. So playing with this 6x6 paper pad, Woodland Forest. What year was this? 2016. So much fun. Is that I have 3 6x6 papers, and I left them the size they're in. So I have the leaves, and then I have this red floral, and then I have this green and brown houndstooth. Back in the 90s, I used to have pants in houndstooth. Did anybody else? Man, that was the trend. Houndstooth. I think it came back a little bit there for a while. And so what I did was I broke out my scallop edge punch, and it's the Fiskars mini scallop. It's just a beautiful little mini scallop. And then I ran those three papers, and I gave them each that same edge. And so then when I put them on the paper, on my base page, I'm going to build it such a way. I'm going to put the scallop edge there at the top. And I'm going to run the red here, and there's the scallop on the right. And this houndstooth, I'm going to tuck underneath here. I think I'm going to do it this way. And so I'm going to have the edge. There's the scallop edge. There's the scallop edge. And there's the scallop edge. Now, can anybody tell me what having those 3 scallop edges in 3 different places, what does that do? You're right. That creates a visual triangle with that scallop. And that is just a base page with a visual triangle built in. How fun is that? So you can see that's just 3 6x6 papers layered on top of one another. And so I kept the most neutral, the red, on the top, because then I could put a photo right on top of that. Maybe not even have to mat. So the other thing I wanted to show is when you're ripping papers from a 6x6 paper pad or 12x12, even this die cuts with the view has it, you have that hole at the top. And so you definitely can play with those branding strips. And what I do is if I don't use them right now, they go into a trash. I won't keep them. They're too small of a scrap. And this is what I mean. You get this right here. You get this branding strip or the topper that has that hole. And of course, if you're playing with a 6x6 pad, you're going to get the same thing. I thought I had another one floating around. But what you can do is that, what I do is I just rip this in half, and then I will give it a straight edge, and then I simply take that and put it in my corner rounder on the top. And then that gives me an embellishment. So right there's a tab, right there's a tab, there's another tab. And so that is just half of that right there. So I can get 2 out of there. Or what you can do then is you can divvy it, and you can make smaller ones. And so I wanted to show you right here. See, I took that big one right there, and then I made 4. So with that leftover branding strip from a 12x12 paper pad, you can get 4 tabs just using your corner rounder. Love doing that. And like I said, right here is half of that. So I just stick it in there, and I do the corner round at the top, and that gives you a tab. And I'm going to show you what that looks like because I'm going to use it for this base page. So like I said, I won't keep a scrap like this. I just won't, because it'll just get lost. I'll never use it. So I make tab embellishments, and then I just keep them in a bowl or a little embellishment little container. So I want to show that tab. So when I have these 4 here, and what I'm going to do, and I will adhere these down, is I'm going to stick a tab there, and I could stick a tab down here at the bottom. If you could see that, I'm going to stick a tab right down there at the bottom. And then I'm also going to do another tab right here. If my papers weren't so crooked, excuse me for that, I'm going to put a tab right there. So again, what do those tabs do? They create a visual triangle on a base page using those leftover branding strips from a paper pad. Love that. Or basically just any little scrap of paper that you just don't want to house and, you know, keep in your drawer. Just make it into an embellishment. Don't keep those small scraps. Isn't that a very simple base page? And look at the color. It already has a design. There's really not much you need to do to build a layout. Just a couple photos and your title and some journaling, and then the fun stuff, playing with the embellishments. Okay, so that's number 2. I better get cracking here. Yeah, every video I do does not have to be an hour long. I keep telling myself that, but you know, I love this hobby. Yes, I do. Okay, so that's number 2. Now number 3, I'm going to break out this collection here by Simple Stories. It is called Sweater. I can never say it right. Sweater Weather. Wow, that is a tongue twister. This came out in, let's see if I have a year. This is a couple years old because I had to learn something after I bought this. I'll find a year. Give me a minute. I'm moving a little slow this morning. Yeah. Oh, let's see. Oh my goodness gravy. I'm going to say it's 2013, but I don't want to misquote. I don't like being wrong. 2014. Okay, so this was a lesson for me because when I look at this collection, and I used to be the type of person, if it was fall, I bought it. But then I had to realize there are certain fall colors that I'm not attracted to and I don't use as much. And it's these dark colors right here. You see how this floral is on this dark background? I had to teach myself, you don't migrate towards those, so stop buying it. Even though it's fall papers, I have a hard time using it. So this is getting into more of that distressed look. And so this is how I keep my collections. They're just in the same way. I separate them with a piece of copy paper. My scraps are in a page protector, and then the rest of the papers follow. And then if I have other papers floating around that goes with this collection, or to beef up a collection, I just add in other papers. So this orange doesn't belong with this collection. And I think there was another one here at the end. This brown, that did not go. That's a We Are Memory Keepers paper. So that is the collection I'm playing with. And so this is a very easy page. Of course, all my base pages are easy. That's the whole purpose of a base page, is it not? So what we're going to do is we are going to use this. Oh, just wait a minute. Oh, my punches fell. I don't want my punches to get broke. I even added a side table to help me with filming, and it's still not enough room. I think I'm going to have to get another one. It takes a lot of maneuvering, so you're not spending 10 hours filming something. So I'm going to use this 12 by 12 wood grain, of course, why not, from that Simple Stories line. And then my floral piece, that is the B side. So you can see right there, you could use those papers, even though that is fall colors. You could use this for a masculine page or a boy page or a reunion page, a day at the park. It doesn't have to be fall. So sometimes we limit ourselves by putting our papers in certain categories. I think so. So this is a 7 by 12, and of course it's floral. It's easy. You know we're going to do half of a happy horizontal when I break out that 7 by 12. Sure. And then I broke out another Fiskars punch, and it is this one right here. It's this floral sunburst is what I call it. And then this is a maroon piece of paper. That is from that pumpkin spice. This is basically a 1 by 12. And when I am using a piece of paper for an edge punch, I will cut it a little larger than I want because I always seem to tuck that edge. So that's why I do it a little bit. Whenever I put my paper through my edge punch, it's not skimpy. I add a little extra so I could do some tucking. So that is how that's going to be. And then I broke out a border sticker. This is old school. This is basic gray, and I'm going to put it right there. Now my Fiskars edge punch is a complete 12 inches. This border sticker is shorter than 12. It doesn't matter. That's going to how that's land. So quick. A 7 by 12, a 1 by 12, ran it through my edge punch, put it on some wood grain, and that page is done. Of course, the beauty of this is that you could also do this in a vertical sense if you are more into that. I am a horizontal gal, but you can definitely have that option as well. Yes, my brain just seems more calm when my papers run in this horizontal. And I think what it is because I'm going to say it's because my photos are mainly vertical. So that gives me a little bit of a design right off the bat, if that makes sense. Okay, so then I wanted to show that with Simple Stories. Oh, wow. Simple Stories is known to have so many cut-aparts. It's like cut-apart, crazy cut-apart. It's just so many. And this is basically why I stopped buying Simple Stories collections as a whole. Because all these cut-aparts, I don't want them all. I can't use them all. I don't like them all. Maybe 1 or 2 pages, but all of this, no, I don't want all of that. And so I wanted to show that I did include a cut apart, and you could simply, put it there and use it as a title or a base for your journaling. But my intention is that I'm going to fussy cut this, and that's going to be part of my embellishment. So again, if you have something that you know you want to use, or you see something that catches your eye, you can even put some, if your collections still have your stickers with them. I don't. I'll put them someplace else. You could even put a couple on a piece of wax paper and throw it in your base page if you want to. But I just use this cut apart because Lord knows this collection had so many cut aparts. It is unbelievable. You could do probably 20 base pages just with the cut aparts. Yeah, that makes my brain busy. But in 2020... we will be addressing this very topic. So hang on for that. Yes, because I'm going to master cut aparts. I really will. So this is my intention. Again, this is a Laura Whitaker trick. I am going to be cutting out that whole thing for my title and an embellishment, and it will go right there. That's the intention. And I probably will put it on some foam tape. So it's just included for that representation. That's what I want to do. And of course, don't forget, what else could I do? I could break out one of those tabs that I did. See what I'm saying? Go ahead and play with those scraps while they're right there on your desk. I'm going to go ahead and include that. Why not? Okay, so for the next one, we're going to play with that Simple Stories line again. And we're going to talk about that very thing, cut aparts. Because like I said, in that collection, well, in any of their collections, those cut aparts are just there. Now, what did I do? I'm missing one. Oh, yes, what did I do? Oh, man. Give me a minute here. Hold on a minute. I got something messed up. I don't know what I did. Okay, so I did something. I messed up with my numbers. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that headache, is not helping, is it? So hang on a minute. Okay, yeah. Okay, so I am now going to play with Simple Stories Sweater Weather again. And I'm going to play with another wood grain. And you can see it's this light white wood grain. So very happy with that. And of course, in those cut aparts, they have so many different sizes. 6x8, 4x12, 2x2, 1x2. It makes my head bonkers. But the benefit of that is that you can use it to your benefit to make a base page in a quick manner. So this is a 4x12 and it's pre-designed. It already has a title. It already has subtitle and journaling if you want to consider that. And then a little bit of a design of an embellishment cluster. So then I'm going to use this border here of this sweater. Of course, you could use the reverse of that. Now, I will say the one thing I'm glad Simple Stories does, because they have so many cut aparts, is that when you do cut one side, the opposite side cuts in the same size. I'm so glad they do that. So that is a very smart option that they do. So this little actual sweater looking piece of paper is a 1x12. It's simply going to go like that. And then I broke out another edge punch, and that is that little scallop. That would be this one right here. And I'm going to give a little bit of a scallop here at the bottom of where this little squirrel is. How cute is that? Again, this is a very simple band or strip, however you want to call this. And my page is basically done, if I can get that on there, because of using that cut apart. So, you know, I was just complaining that I don't like them. But that doesn't mean you can't use them. It's not my favorite thing, but it does make for a fast... It does make for a fast base page. Oh my goodness. We'll get this lined up. Yes, we will. So there, that little green scallop is just going to be, and this came from the sweater weather as well. That's the actual sweater design, and the green was the B side. So then I did another one, and these are just, this is like a 1 inch, a 3/4 inch. I just cut them a little bit more than I want. And then I'm going to put one at the top. So very simple. Just using that collection and breaking it at a simple border edge punch. I mean, it doesn't get any simpler than that. And that is how that will look. And again, if your cut apart has vertical words, you know, you could also rotate that. Whatever orientation you like. This is just easy for me to use. This is ABC of building a base page. And then again, with these cut aparts, I plan on using these, I'm going to call them little needle point hearts, and I'm going to fussy cut them, and I'm going to sprinkle them probably right down this way, or I could sprinkle them up through here. So again, I'm going to include that in there as a representation. I wanted to play with that. Okay, so now let's go to the next one, is number 5. That's hard to believe already, number 5. And so what I'm going to be playing with this time is a lovely gift from my lovely subscriber, Julie. And it is this paper pad right here. It is Autumn Chill. And Julie gifted this to me. And it's just a beautiful, beautiful stack by Die Cuts with a View. And it has some copper foil. And it has 36 sheets. And they are just absolutely quality paper. But then Die Cuts with a View is basically known for that. They're not really known for thin paper. They used to be the paper pad. Well, they were the paper pad manufacturer at one time. And I did not know that these were under American Crafts. Everything, I guess, now is under American Crafts. So this one is going to be a double page layout. So let's get this one here. Okay. So the background, I'm going to use cream this time. And let's start playing. Again, measurements will be listed below if I go a little too fast or I seem a little off today. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start inward and I'm going to build out so you can see how this is coming together. Now this is one of those cases that what I do on the left, I'm going to do on the right. When you're doing a base page, make it easy on yourself. But that doesn't mean I have to use both of these pages together. Even though I'm making a double page layout, when I see that in my base page album, I can just use one of them. If you're not scrapbooking chronological, no one will ever know that you did 2 of them. No. And so that goes with saying, if you like a design, repeat it. So this acorn paper came from that Autumn Chill. This is a 6x11. I just cut down 1 inch. Okay, 6x11. And then we're going to play with some plaid to the left and to the right of that. I don't know why I'm standing here holding these. That is 4x11. That's the plaid. So then, of course, in that paper pad, they had a burgundy copper foil paper. It is lovely. Look at this. Is that not lovely? So these are 2.5 by 12, 2.5 by 12, and I'm going to simply put that here on the left as such. So you saw that the acorn and the plaid was 11 inches. This burgundy copper foil is 12 inches, just to give some variety. And I'm going to do the same thing on the right. Now, I will make sure before I adhere anything that the majority of my acorns and leaves are going in the right direction. I do pay attention to that before I start adhering. And then to finish this off and to cover up this seam right here, and this is my inseam, so I don't have to worry about covering, is that I took a 1/4 by 12 of that same burgundy foil. See how my hands are shaking? Yeah, they're shaky today. Whenever I get a sinus headache, that seems to come along for the ride. And 1/4 by 12. I can't see which way this is going. 1/4 by 12. So again, the copper foil is in 12 inches, the rest of the paper in 11. It just gives a little bit of something unexpected. Again, you could use the left as one page, the right as one page, or use them together as a double page layout. That is so simple. Now, of course, with this 1/4 inch strip, you know you could break out an edge punch and do that, or you could use a piece of thin washi to do that. And then also, you could take these 2.5 by 12 and give yourself an edge on the very, very left and the very, very right if you decided to do so. Now, I didn't do any edge punching with this one because the copper foil has such a beautiful look. I didn't want to take away from it, if that makes sense. So that's why I did not use the edge punch, but that is a very fast. Again, these are 6 by 11. The plaid is a 4 by 11, and my end pieces are 2.5 by 12. And these mini strips, 1/4 by 12, and you don't even have to include them, but I think it just adds a little something. It just keeps that burgundy foil through that flow. That is a double page layout. That's too fun. Okay, so I'm going to stop there for a minute, and I'm going to get something for my headache, and I will be right back. Hold on. All right, I am back. Sorry about that. I was watching the fabulous Becky Bidding. I'll have her channel listed below. You probably know who she is. But anyway, she was dealing with the same thing, allergies. I know, it's crazy. I wish they were done. So for base page number 6, what I'm going to do is I'm going to play with leftovers from the previous 2 page. Yes, just leftovers, using them the size they're in. So whenever you're doing a base page and you're getting papers cut here and left to the right, just play with whatever size they're in and come up with your own combination. There is no science to this. It's simply playing with paper. That's all it is. And let me move this for a minute. So what I'm going to do is that in the previous layout, I played with these exact same papers. They came from this Autumn Chill, so thank you, Julie, for that. But I'm using a background of white now instead of cream. So you can see in the previous layout that with these papers, that cream background gave it a more warm and cozy. This white now makes the colors pop. Love it. And so this burgundy foil is 6.5 by 12, and it's going to land right there. My plaid is a 4 by 11, and look what I did. I gave it this decorative Fiskars edge, that floral sunburst. That's what I'm calling it. And then I had this strip of acorn paper. This is a 1 by 12, and that puppy is going to land, I think, right there. That's my plan. Very simple. Just leftovers, layering them on top of each other. It doesn't get any easier than that. And, of course, I have these tab pieces that they were left over from the branding strip. I will include those because I could put them... I could include one on a photo, or, maybe if I had anything. You could also use these for leftovers on cards. But I'm going to include them because they're laying here. There's no sense of them going in the trash. So, again, leftovers with that little corner rinder. This little apparatus that should stay on your desk at all time. I know for me, I use it all the time because it's on my desk. So, again, using those little scraps. And that is so simple. 6.5 by 12, a 4 by 11. 4 by 11. That was the size they're in, and then a 1 by 12. Easy peasy. That is number 6. Love this. Absolutely love this. Okay, so now for the next one, we are going to break out another paper pad, and this is going to be by Basic Gray. It is one of my favorite Basic Gray lines, and if I ever saw this in a discount store, I would buy every single piece. Persimmon. Very, very pretty. So what we're going to do with this one is I'm going to break out some colored cardstock. How is that? So I'm going to be playing with Persimmon by Basic Gray. Love this. And again, you're going to see that these may look like fall colors. This may be a fall paper pad, but I don't have to scrapbook a fall photo. So we're going to do Persimmon, and then my dark navy, my background. Yes, we're going to play with colored cardstock. That came from Pumpkin Spice. Let me see if I can find it. And it is another die cuts with a view. So, no. That is from Recollections. Hold on. I told you wrong. It's this one right here. Pumpkin Spice. Oh, yeah. Do they have the same name? Yeah, they do. Pumpkin Spice. Die Cuts with a View. Pumpkin Spice. Recollections Hot Buy. I think this is still available, or this is a reprint. I think I've seen people show it again this year. I got this last year. So I'm playing with that dark navy right there. Very pretty. And this Basic Gray Persimmon. So I'm going to do something a little fun and something a little different, playing again with 6x6 papers. So I have this leaf, this it's like a yellow mustard leaf with navy, very pretty. Those are cut in half, 3x6, and then I picked some birds, again, cut in half, that 3x6, 3x6. And again, playing with what we were talking about in our 6x6 paper pad series. That playlist will be below. So I'm going to put the leaf up here, alongside some birdies. Okay, so I'm going to do a grid, but it's going to be shifted over here to the left. And then I'm just going to alternate. I'm going to put the leaves here. Again, these are 3x6. So again, just this piece of paper cut in half. That's all that is. And then the birds are 3x6. And so then I'm going to take this diagonal striped piece of paper, and this is 1/2 by 6. And I'm going to just cover up that seam. That's what I'm going to do. How easy is that? Playing with 3 different patterns. It's so simple. But then that's what base pages really should be. So then I broke out some border stickers. I have a gold glitter. And this is basically a half. And it was 12 inches, but I cut it down because I'm going to show you my intention. So that's just a scalloped border sticker in glitter foil. And then I have another Basic Gray. This came from the Aurora line. And this is a border sticker. And I cut that down to be even a little shorter. And that is how that's going to look. So I'm giving myself a little bit of a shelf right here in the middle of this layout. It's just something different. Just really something different. That's all I wanted to do, something different, because I don't want everything so boxy and everything 12 inches. So just something different. So I could come up here with a big title and a couple of little wallets, or vice versa, just playing with something different. And again, you can tell by these papers, this does not have to be a fall page whatsoever. This could be an absolutely a masculine page if you wish to. Now here are my leftovers. You can see that is the leftover from that 12 inches, and that's the leftover from that, and this is the leftover from that diagonal. So what I'm going to do is simply include that with the base page if I want to play with them. Because what else would you do with these? These are going to get lost. I'm not interested in putting this back in the 6x6 paper pad. So all these little bits and bobs I will keep with the base page just to play with them later. That's always fun. Okay, so again, we broke out border stickers, but you could also make your own with washi, or break out some of your glitter paper, run it through an edge punch, and make your own. Yes, sometimes what I will do if I want to play is that I will get out some glitter paper, or metallic, or some sheen, or some washi, and I will make up my own border stickers. That's something I do in front of the TV, or when you're with your hubby watching a movie. Absolutely. Okay, so that was number 7. I think I have one more. Yes, one more in this base page round. Okay, so for number 8, I'm going to be playing with some embossed cardstock, and then what I'm going to also play with is this Fall Basics. Let me see if I can find it. And we're going to do some paper tearing on this one. I think I have it here. It might be at the bottom. Fall Basics. Yes, that is where my plaid came from. And this one, believe it or not, I found it in the summertime, but it said Fall Basics. And if you just want some basic papers, even though it says fall, look at that. It's just basic. You could use it all year long. It doesn't have to just do with fall. So when I saw this, I snagged it, especially because I saw that purple. And for that price, $6.99. I will tell you, Tuesday morning, their prices have went up. But I still think their paper pads at this $6.99. I hope they don't go up to $7.99 in the spring. I'm hoping not. But that's $6.99 for a paper pad. This has 32 sheets. And this one even has a bonus sticker sheet. Now, they're not they're not cardstock stickers by any means, but still something cute. And the paper's quality. So I still think a Tuesday morning, this is the best deal you're going to find, is $6.99 for a paper pad. I really do, because at half off, if you go to Michael's or anything, that would be $10. So that's still the best deal, I think. So that's where that green plaid came from. And then my other paper, my floral, came from this autumn chill. So you'll see that floral. So what we're going to do is we're going to do some paper tearing. And I'm going to have this green plaid, and let me look at my notes here. This is a 5x12. And my background is white embossed cardstock. I don't know if you can see that. And someone recently asked me, where do I get my embossed cardstock? And it's one of those things, you can't really go find it. It kind of finds you. And so every once in a while, a manufacturer will come out with a paper pack that is embossed, and so I just buy duplicates. Or once in a while you can find this at discount stores, or Tuesday morning you just happen upon some embossed cardstock. And so this had like a pretty, like a fleur-de-lis type of design, and so I just snag it. So it's one of those things that finds you, you don't really find it. At one time, American Crafts came out with embossed cardstock in woodgrain. And I think I bought 12 of each one. I mean, it wasn't the cheapest. It's still, 99 cents. But I knew it was something that they don't come out with a lot. But, I might just do that. I may contact a couple manufacturers and ask them if they could do a release. I have no problem contacting anybody and say, hey, can you give us this? Can you give us that? And if it's a good company, they truly want to hear that. So, yeah, I will do that. I'm going to reach out to a couple companies, and I'll say, can you give us some embossed cardstock maybe in the next spring or fall release. So there's that floral paper, and I cut this down to a 4x12. And so I'm going to do some paper tearing, and I'm going to talk about that for a minute. So when you do paper tearing, plan a little bit of either a 1/2 inch or 3/4 inch for that paper tear, depending on how heavy you do your paper tear. And I will show you how I do mine, because I always tear towards me. So I'll show that. So that is a 5x12, a 4x12. And then, of course, my edge punch, I broke out that bracket again in that floral. This is a 1x12, and it's going to go there. That's where that's going to go. So let's talk about paper tearing a minute, and I'll finish with this base page. So for paper tearing, and I had a piece of paper floating around here. And so what I do for paper tearing is that I'm lefty. So, but what I use is my thumb as my guide. Now, some people will just take, and they'll start here, and they'll just rip it real fast. That's too sporadic, and I don't have enough control, and I don't want to eat into my paper. So what I do is I do small tear, and then I use my thumb as a guide. And so that's how I do my paper tearing. And I tear towards me. I don't know if there's an exact science for that. It depends on what your inner core is. And so I use my thumb as my guide rather than this. See, that I can't do. No, I can't do that. That's too big of a paper tear. That's a control issue there. So I just use my thumbnail, and I do it in small tears. So see how I keep my thumb, and that's how I do mine. Yes, I can't do that. That big old tear. No, because I want it a little bit even. Yeah, absolutely. But again, it's just paper tearing. It's not supposed to be so serious. But some of us do have control issues. Yes, we do. We're not so whimsical like that. So paper tearing, I use my thumb. That's the tip. And so that's going to land right there. And again, that's what I'm saying. So when you're planning your papers, make it a little more than like a 1/2 or 3/4 inches longer than you want, because your paper tearing will eat into that measurement. And so with that paper tear, what can you do with that? Well, this is where that paper tear came. I could absolutely use this and come over here and use that paper tear as a decorative element. Or when you're doing an edge punch, remember I said sometimes you'll get that little bit of a strip left over. I could definitely use that strip. That's what came from the edge punch. I could do that. Or what you simply can do is, again, just cut a small piece of paper, which is what I did. And this is 1/4 of an inch, and I'm going to put that right there as a little bit of a filler for that, just so that I can see that multi-paper 3 times right there. Isn't that pretty? So simple. And then, of course, you can go vertical or you can do the horizontal. I'm doing this in a vertical this time because of the way the flowers seem to be on the paper. So sometimes I will let the design show me if I want to do a vertical or a horizontal. So I would, you could keep these strips, and you could even, this piece that you tear off, another place you could put that is right above that place where you did the tearing. if you can see that. Let me see if I can stretch this out. And so that you could give yourself another layer. That's pretty too. And then with that little strip, you can just keep on building with these strips. And you could go on top of that. Oh, I might like that too. Oh, isn't that pretty? So layers upon layers when you're doing a base page. It doesn't just have to be a couple pieces of paper glued down to a 12 by 12 cardstock. No, you can play with your layers, play with your design, and then don't forget that rotate. And then along with that, I have this little piece of my petal washi here that Kim gifted me, and I will definitely, I have it, and I'm going to put it here on my piece of paper. This is just my notes for filming. I will put it there so I know to play with that. You know, when I do my base page, I don't want to forget that because that is a beautiful element. This petal washi. Kim, I'm obsessed with this. And so Kim is a close to my heart gal. Look below. I'm just obsessed with that. If they came out with this in every color, I honestly think I would buy it in every color. If they did red petals, orange, navy. Oh, can you imagine if they did navy petals? So Kim, contact Close to My Heart and tell them to do this petal washi. But every color in the rainbow. We want navy. We want yellow. Yes, that would be fun for the spring. They should do that. Yeah, that's another idea. Okay, and then don't forget to use those leftover scraps to make some tab embellishments. I got a green here, so I could definitely, I don't know where I would put that, but, you know, just stick it in there and play with those tabs. Absolutely. So that is Base Pages. The fall edition, just a little bit of fun today. That's really all this is. A little bit of fun. A little bit of tips on paper tearing, taking those extra, making some tabs, and then old school, baby, breaking out those edge punches. It don't matter who makes them. It doesn't matter when you buy them. It's still a great product. Absolutely. So that's all I have for today. Definitely hit the show more button for more information and links and a little bit more of everything. And also to check out that 6x6 series. It was awesome. Completely awesome. And you can look at the in that series if you're interested. Just because we're done with it doesn't mean you have to be done with it. There's also a discount for that. And so also listed below will be more videos about base pages. Head over to Deborah's Facebook group and join the conversation about base pages. That conversation about base pages has never ended. It's still going on over there. Absolutely. So that's all I have for today. Come back to RTS because you never know what we're gonna do. Bye.